You are listening to WRPI Troy, the Upstate Underground, home of Joe, home of Wacky, and of course, home of Glunky. We are here today with a very extra special guest, like every guest is extra special. We are here today with Kristina Lachaga. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. So I'm pop singer-songwriter Kristina Lachaga, the girl with the big pink heart, and I'm so excited to be here on WRPI Troy. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my God, thank you for being here.
Thanks.
I actually want to start with that. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your name, the girl with the big pink heart?
Of course, yeah. So this started so long ago. So I actually went to Justin Bieber's concert back in 2010. So, I mean, that's been a while, right? And when I went to the concert, I had a big pink heart sign that I brought to the concert. And at the end, he was about to do his last song, which was Baby. It was the encore. And he's like, "Who wants to be my baby?" And the lights went up in the arena. And he picked me, the girl with the big pink heart. But I didn't get to go on stage. I didn't get to meet him, but it was awesome. And I stood on my chair. I didn't know what to do. So I stood on my chair in the arena and held that big pink heart sign so proudly. And afterwards, when I was leaving, girls were like, "Oh my gosh, it's the girl with the big pink heart." And it fits my personality, so it stuck. And yeah, I think it's such a cool story. And also how you can just, stand out in a crowd and totally unexpectedly that happened. So it was a really cool moment.
That is amazing. Are you still a Justin Bieber fan?
I love Justin Bieber. I honestly, I love his music. It'd be so cool to sing with him. His voice is amazing. And I love his song. It came out 2 years ago. It's called Anyone. Or maybe it was a year ago. Anyone. That song is amazing. I would love to perform that song with Justin.
All right, no more talking about Justin Bieber anymore. Let's talk about you. Do you want to talk a little bit about, or maybe in a lot of detail, your musical background?
Of course, yeah. So I started doing music when I was involved in music since I was a little kid. But when I was 9 years old, I started doing music professionally. I started taking voice lessons. I was going into the city for auditions. I would go into the city about 2 to 4 times a week for classes and auditions and callbacks. And ironically, I started doing pop music when I was little. And I did a competition, and it kind of led me into all this and getting a manager in New York City. And then when I was 12, I booked the national tour of the Broadway musical Gypsy. So I got to play Baby Louise in that and travel to 48 states in Canada, which was amazing. That was for 9 months. So all of seventh grade, I was gone on my own adventure. And then when I got back, I started, I was at the age where it was young teen, and at that point there weren't a lot of shows that were happening in New York City for that kind of age group. There was a show called 13. I didn't get that. I was really disappointed. I really wanted that show. And then I started transitioning back over to pop music and writing my own music, and it's just been a journey from there, and I absolutely love it.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Is there any reason particularly you wanted to go into pop music over maybe another genre?
Yeah, I think I've always just naturally been drawn to pop music. I think it's what my voice fits naturally. I think when I was younger and would watch Stars on Disney Channel or go to I saw Hilary Duff at the time it was called the Pepsi Arena in Albany. Just that was such a special thing to me, and I think I just felt this natural connection to it. And so I don't really think any other genre kind of stuck out to me. I mean, I think my music definitely leans more pop rock. And then I also have done I want to do some pop dance leaning stuff. I think that would be really fun. But yeah, I think it's just a natural thing, and I think it fits my personality and how I perform.
Cool.
Thanks.
I'm telling you, I'm just going to say cool, amazing before switching to the next one.
I'm the same way, because I do interviews too for other things, and I'm I have my go-to words. I understand.
Yeah. I'm a little bit bad at transitioning, so I'm glad that you at least are
I get it. I totally understand.
Why don't you talk about the different artists and bands that inspire your sound? It does sound like you are you were probably a Disney Channel kid, so you definitely inspiration from that.
I definitely was. So I would say artists that have influenced my sound over the years, Demi Lovato, Avril Lavigne, Kelly Clarkson, Ariana Grande. I think honestly, if like Ariana Grande and Demi Lovato didn't exist in the pop space, I don't know if I really would have found like that upper register of my voice that is a really good like pocket. And I want to definitely, when I write songs, like kind of write songs that get my voice into that pocket because it really fits well. I would say I also really like, if I love the Jonas Brothers growing up. I've seen them probably in concert like 7 or 8 times. It's pretty cool. But I would say those artists definitely have inspired me. And like not only just musically, but like direction of career and just everything that they've been able to do. I think it's really cool.
Nice.
Thanks.
What do you think makes you stand out from the other pop artists?
I think honestly my performance when I'm on stage, I think that's something that is one of my main standout things. I absolutely love being on stage. I love performing. I love connecting with an audience. I grew up when I was younger being on stage, and I think that's where I'm naturally drawn to. And whenever I'm thinking about like, when I'm writing music or I'm, want to do a cover of a certain song, I think to myself, like, would this work on stage? Would this be a good fit? Would this get a crowd going? Would an audience like this? And I think the energy that I bring to the stage is something that is, it comes very naturally to me. It's not really something I have to think about. And I think I have like a lot of natural draw to certain things, and that the stage is definitely one of them.
You started talking about it a little bit before, but do you want to explain a little bit more about your process for turning an idea into a song? How does a little thought end up to the final production for you? Absolutely.
So I am definitely somebody, I don't know if other artists do this, but I'm someone when I get a song idea, I get music and lyrics at the same time. Like I get melody at the same time as I get lyrics often. Sometimes not, but I definitely always have my phone and you gotta record that song idea as soon as you get it, because otherwise it's gonna go away. That idea is gonna go whoop, and you're not gonna have it if you don't record it immediately. So I would say typically inspiration can definitely strike at any time, and it sometimes is about situations you're actually going through. Sometimes it's honestly something you've kind of conjured up. And it just, you hear like this word, or you see something, or inspiration from friends or family or something you saw on TV, and that can inspire a song totally. And I've mainly worked with right now like a small group of people who have produced my music, and that's been really nice because over the years I got to really get to know them as people and as friends, and it was a really enjoyable process to work on creating the music that I have. And I have a lot of music that I just have been waiting to release, so I'm excited. Ooh. And we have a new song out too, so that's cool.
I'm very excited for that new stuff.
Thank you. It's a little different. It's very different than anything I've released before, which is kind of interesting. So.
Nice. And when you're making music, is there any instruments or sounds that maybe you feel best fit your image for the song, or maybe that you have more of a preference for using?
Yeah, so I definitely lean towards, that's a really good question. I personally have dabbled in instruments over the years. I played the violin from 4th to 8th grade. I played piano on and off my whole life. I've dabbled in guitar a little bit. I look good with a guitar. I need to work on it. So I would say sounds that I kind of I'm drawn to things that are a little bit interesting, a little bit different, that would stand out. I think the thing with music is it's so subjective, and everyone has their own opinion, and everyone thinks they're right. So I think finding your own style is very important, and also not being afraid to find your own style, because I think what you kind of find as artists are growing and developing, and especially now there's a lot of TikTok and everything like that, that a lot of artists kind of tend to do the same thing as maybe other people, which is good. It's trendy. It's a great way to get attention, but is that going to help you stand out over the long run? But I think definitely I'm drawn to drums. Drums are definitely like make it or break it for me. They make or break a song, and really, when you hear really good drums, it's like the best thing ever.
I couldn't agree with you more about that.
Drums are amazing. Yeah, like there's certain songs like you just remember that almost, maybe even more than anything else. And like if the drum line is really good, you're like, good song.
Especially when you're working out or doing something active and like you're using the drums as like a melody for you.
Yeah, exactly. And like this is like not I don't know if it's necessarily drums, but have you heard Charlie Puth's new song? That's Not How This Works?
No, I
haven't. You haven't? Okay, it's with Sabrina. He has a like one that has 2 features. It's Sabrina Carpenter and Dan and Shay, so it's like this whole thing. And the chorus on that song is like, that's not how this works. That's like it like has this like stop start thing. Like when you do something unique, it definitely is memorable. I've only heard the song like twice. I'm like, I like that song. Can't remember the lyrics, but I love the beat of it on the chorus.
Nice. Now, when you're making or performing music, do you have like a philosophy or mind or something that's like always going through your head as you're producing it and like writing it?
I want it to be something that's a good question as well. I don't want to compromise my individuality, and I don't want to do something that I'm not comfortable with. So I feel like finding your own lane is very important, and I want to make sure that I agree with any musical choice that we go with. Like, I don't like when other people kind of push an idea on an artist, because if you don't genuinely connect with it, you're not going to like it in the long run. So I think something like that is important. And also I think, I don't know, that's such a good question. I've never thought about it like that. I think I definitely go in with an open mind, and also trying to figure out what fits my sound and my image. I think would definitely also be I'm very cognizant of that. Yeah.
All right. And you mentioned it before about like finding your own lane.
Yeah.
Do you struggle with that sometimes, really trying to define your own lane and try to keep to it?
I think what's difficult about finding your own lane, or maybe like you said, like sticking to it, is that if you want to open for different artists, or you're trying to like climb the ladder and make a name for yourself, is that if your music is super different than other artists, you're going to have a little bit of a tricky time trying to find people who you can open for, or it's kind of something like that is something I think about. But I think that, can you repeat the question? Because I got off on my own little tangent in my head. And
Oh, yeah. Do you struggle sometimes with
lane?
Yeah, your own lane, and maybe trying to like define it, but also trying to stay within it?
Yeah. I mean, I think I would say yes and no, just because I like the music that I like, and I'm gonna always produce music and release music that I love. So I think as long as as an artist you're comfortable and confident with what you're releasing, it's gonna be something that you're never gonna regret releasing.
Wow, I love that answer.
Sometimes, and it's funny because sometimes like you don't know when you're releasing a song like what the reception is gonna be. Like you don't know. And I think it's kind of you're kind of just jumping off a cliff, and you're going, well, I like it, hopefully everyone else will too. So it's definitely something like that.
Yeah, definitely. If you're releasing it like in full, a little bit better for some of the TikTok artists who are releasing it in pieces,
and then you can kind of judge and see if people are liking it. There's a band called New Rules. They're from like the UK and Ireland, and they actually, one of them has family in the area, which is so funny. I had no idea about that. Like I started being a fan of them like 4 years ago, and then like 2 years ago I discovered like Alec from the band. He has family in this area, and he visits all. They were here for Thanksgiving before they started their tour, but they have been recently like previewing a lot of their songs on TikTok and seeing like which ones people like, and I'm like, I like all of them, release them all.
All right, now for the special part of this interview.
Ooh, okay, I'm excited.
we are going to be talking about your newest single.
Yes.
And we're going to be listening to it
Oh my gosh.
Do you want to say any words beforehand or?
Sure. Yeah, so this is my new single, Love You More. It was just released about 3 weeks ago. Actually, 3 weeks to the date. And it's really, honestly, like, if you listen to this interview so far, you're going to be like, wow, we're going to expect a pop leaning track. And then this is going to come on and you're going to be so thrown because it's very different than anything I've released before. I hope you love it. It's definitely more acoustic leaning. And believe it or not, we have an even more acoustic version than this that you're going to hear. So this is Love You More, and I hope you enjoy.
Wow, that was amazing. Do you want me to start with my feelings?
Sure, go for it. Thank you so much.
I really like how summery it is.
Yes.
Especially since now that it's getting really warm and really summery. I like the album, the cover for it too.
Yes, thank you. My mom took that picture.
It just feels very like whimsical.
Yeah.
And I think like the best way, especially in like this field, that feeling of, you're out in the field, maybe it's a picnic and, there's a slight breeze to it.
Yeah.
And it's just like that enjoying nature. Like nature isn't really doing much, but it's just like you're there and present with it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that.
Oh my gosh, that means so much. And that is so funny. You literally hit on everything I was going for, especially like the visual component of Love You More. That's exactly what I wanted to convey. And it's so funny that you mentioned about being out in nature and like that, because one of my friends, she messaged me and she's like, I bet the music video is going to be like you running through a field of flowers. And I literally messaged her back and I'm like, how did you know? So it's so funny that you said that. And I'm glad, summery, spring, like it definitely has that vibe. You got it right on. You nailed around the head. Perfect.
You see, in radio, you gotta know your stuff.
You
were
good.
Know my stuff.
That was good. I felt like I just got my personality read through my music. That was awesome.
Is there any behind the scenes information you want to tell us about Love You More, or maybe some lyrics or special parts you want to point out?
Absolutely. So Definitely. Okay, so Love You More, I actually wrote this back in 2016. So I know, right? I've been sitting on this. So I wrote Love You More back in 2016. And there was no drums added to it, no percussion at all. And we just kind of kept sitting on it and like not sure what we were going to do with it. Played for a couple of people and I was like, what should we do? Do you like it? And I just kept holding off on releasing it, but I had performed it a couple times. And I think kind of we were talking about the TikTok thing. When I performed it, I'm like, I know people are going to like this. I really get a vibe that they're going to like it because I had some people come up to me and be like, had personal stories that related to the phrase "love you more." Like, I actually performed it a few weeks after I'd written it at the Erie County Fair outside of Buffalo, New York. And this woman came up to me after. She's like, "Oh my gosh, that song meant so much to me. You know, when are you releasing it?" 2016. When are you releasing it? And she's like, my father used to say, you know, "love you more" to me, and he had passed away. I'm like, oh my gosh, that just meant so much to me to hear like these touching moments that people were getting at from the song. It was actually my producer Rich had played it on my dad's Loudon guitar, and we were like, we have to have this guitar. I love the sound of it, and I think that it's really special to me. This song in particular is really special to me because it was one of the last songs that I actually got to work with Rich on. Rich had actually passed away in July of last year, and very unexpectedly, and so this was kind of was maybe meant to be that I had just kept sitting on the song and not released it because I think it just kind of holds like a special place in my heart that I get to share it now. And so it has like this bright and summery and like cheerful feeling, but I definitely have like a little bit of my own personal backstory with it. So I'm glad that I can share it now.
I love that so much. But usually when I ask bands and artists to come in, usually they have an album and I ask for their favorite song. Do you have a favorite lyric from this, or maybe just a lyric that you really want to point out to people?
Yeah, let me think about it for a second. I think that I really like the okay, it's so funny because I have the lyrics in front of me, so I'm like going through them mentally in my head. I really like the bridge because I think it has this like whimsical feeling, like you said. And then I think as far as the lyrics go, I think one line is like, "No cloudy days can be found, only sunshine when you're around." I think that line just kind of has like a beautiful meaning behind it. It's just like a really sunny meaning. I wish I had my lyrics in front of me. I probably could give you a better answer. But I think that one kind of captures it for me. I'll think about it. If I come up with something better, I'll let you know before the end of this.
Okay. You also do you want to talk about a little bit more? You said it right before we played the song, about how this song is a little bit different from the rest of your work. Yeah,
definitely. So I think that this song literally kind of came to me all at once. I think just like a lot of artists might agree, a lot of great songs are written in the shower. And it just kind of happens. I think it's a place where you kind of just go into this like really calm place, and I sometimes get ideas in the shower, so this is one of them. And the problem with getting an idea in the shower is you have to hold it until you can get to your phone. So, one of those things. But I got literally the lyrics and the melody, and like literally it was a one-take voice note on my phone. And that is really rare when that happens. You sometimes get something like that, and in this case I did. And I some lyrics had changed since. Like, I remember taking my phone and writing out the lyrics after I'd recorded, because I'm like, I really want to work on this. Like, something about this, I really like it. And I've written down all the lyrics. And I don't really think many had actually changed from the original things that I had written down. And I brought the lyrics and the melody to Rich. And Rich, we were at his aunt's house. And we were, like, sitting on the floor at his aunt's house. And he put the guitar to it. I'm like, oh, my gosh, I love this. I found, like, some of the original like voice notes. It didn't sound that great, but it was like sonically it didn't sound, it was like really, really, I think maybe it was too close to the guitar or something. It sounded weird. But I think it just kind of all comes together. But as far as it being very different, I remember thinking I think about why, maybe part of why I waited to release it, it was because it was so different. I really didn't know how people were going to react to it, and the reception has been really great. And so that's been great to hear, and I'm really happy about that. But for this song, I think it's nice to have something a little bit different. And I think it has a different vibe and a different feeling, and I think like it's definitely something that I'm really happy people are enjoying. As far as it being different, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to sing that song, and it's something that I wanted to come across. And I think that it's something special. 1 second. We have some notes being passed to me. Yes. Yeah, the finger picking. So my mom is in the corner, and she just wrote a note on the thing. So anyone listening in, my mom is over there with some notes. But Rich actually was was the creative choice behind the finger picking on the guitar. And I think without the finger picking, it wouldn't be the same song. It gives it a very, like, that summery feel. And I think it also just kind of gives it that, people have been, like, saying it's folk. I'm like, which it is kind of folk. It's, like, folk leaning. And the biggest surprise, I think, for me was people saying that I had a song that was folk. I was like, wow. After everything we discussed, Willow, folk. Yeah, it's kind of funny. But, yeah, it's really different.
Yeah, I asked this because when I was listening to a lot of your discography, I was like, yeah, this does sound a little bit different from, your other stuff. I think the other song I really like is RSVP.
You do? Oh, yeah, cool. But the acoustic version?
Yes, the acoustic version.
Yeah, this is the closest. RCP acoustic is definitely the closest to Love You More. I have to be honest. Definitely the closest. But still really different. And I wanted with RCP acoustic, I wanted to create like more of a mature sound for the song, because that song was written in a collaboration with an author who had written a book that was meant for like middle grade readers. And so that was like a really like upbeat and cool song. I actually got to perform that for the first time, not the acoustic version, at a pre-party the One Direction concert. Like it was like with iHeartRadio. It was really, really cool. And I wanted to create like a more mature version of it. And that's where the acoustic version came in, because I felt it could. That was also on the Loudon guitar, so that was cool. And I thought that could have like a really different vocal melody and stuff. So I'm glad you like that. That means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, and I like that when I was listening to both of them.
Yeah.
Like, they sound differently.
Yeah.
But like, as you said before, they kind of have that same lane.
Yeah.
And they, I definitely think that if someone else had sung it, I probably would not have recognized it. Yeah. But how you sing it makes me think of both of these songs.
Yeah.
Like, hey, the lane that you've created with both of these is very unique. And I can, like, going through the different songs, I was kind of like, wow, like I can see this lane. And even I added stuff into my queue because I have a song stuck in my head. And I was like, no, this is the song I added into queue, and I could like really tell the difference, and I really like that.
Oh, that's so cool. That means a lot. I'm glad you like it. That's really cool. It's good. It's nice to hear, because like you see like numbers go up on Spotify or like numbers go up on YouTube, and you're like, well, I'm glad somebody's listening. I hope they like it. I don't know what they think. So that means that's great. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I definitely can feel that when I like look at a song that I really like and the numbers aren't that great, and it's like, and then talking with some bands about their songs, it's just really nice to see the passion that they have for it, especially the passion you have for it.
Thank
you.
And
to be like, oh, this might not have a lot of plays right now, or maybe hopefully we'll have a lot of plays. Hopefully for you, we're going to go into the millions.
I honestly, that'd be so cool. It's so funny because on my Spotify right now, all the playlists that I'm on are like indie folk and acoustic mornings and coffee. I'm like, wow, I never saw this. Definitely didn't predict that.
Yeah, and it's really nice to, hear a little bit about like the feeling and the stories behind it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask you, well, okay, this question is divisive for me because I already have a lot of feelings about this. So the pop genre has changed a lot from especially the 80s to now.
Yeah.
What is your thoughts on like the current state of the pop genre?
The pop genre. That is a loaded question, Willow. Okay, here we go. So I think the pop genre is always going to be a genre that is ever changing. It's definitely, let's think. Okay. Even from 2 years ago, it's changed. And it's always going to be being pushed forward, especially now with so many artists having such access to be able to find new fans and release short clips like we were talking about. And it's a really interesting space because you have artists that are more indie and really niche and have that like that small group of people that are listening to their stuff, and eventually that group is going to get bigger and they're going to like get a lot of attention. Then you have artists that are going right from labels and just going right onto radio and just like pushing out music. And then you have, I think pop is also interesting because you have so many other genres that either through collaborations or just through like stylistic incorporation that's kind of influenced into the music. I think what's really cool right now, I like that there's so many female, like solo female artists that are in like that pop rock leaning thing. I guess we should give credit to Olivia Rodrigo for doing that. I feel like in the past couple of years that she's the one who's kind of pushed that forward. But I mean, ultimately, I'm sure she's paying tribute to like, you know, Avril Lavigne and all those other artists who are then like coming back and like being like, hey, what about me? You know what I mean? And I personally like it. I mean, of course, we have Love You More with the folk thing going on. But as far as like with my music, it definitely fits in that thing that's happening right now, which I like. So I definitely want to release some of my pop rock stuff and see what happens with that.
I definitely have a lot of feelings about Olivia Rodrigo.
Okay.
I love her album Sour.
Yeah.
But also Good For You will forever be in my brain, and whenever I hear it, I have like actual like flashbacks.
Yeah.
Which I don't like.
You don't like?
So,
that's so funny. I get it.
Yeah.
I love Good For You. I don't have flashbacks like that, luckily. So I have a better relationship with the song. But yeah, that song is definitely, you put your headphones on and you just like, so you don't disturb other people. You like run around and scream the lyrics, like, or mouth the lyrics, and you're just like kind of go all out. So I think that's what that song is meant for.
Yeah. So part of the reason why I asked you about like the current pop genre.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, I'll explain a little bit. So
yeah.
I have a friend.
Okay. Tell me about this friend.
Yeah. So I was telling him like, oh yeah, the pop genre is like a little bit more than just being like popular.
Yeah.
And, you know, going into this, like, pop really has this sound. And, you know, it is changing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's also really interesting that I go through a lot of artists that I've added onto our automation.
Okay.
And looking at the ones that are pop, and, like, you can see that, like, through line through all of them. And part of the reason why I asked you to come in for an interview is because, you know, I want more, like, pop stuff. I'm trying to interview artists of, like, basically every genre I can.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I find pop to be very interesting because, like you said, it's constantly changing.
Yeah.
So, like, as the years go on pop means a little bit different, but I think a core philosophy within it is kind of staying the same. Just the sounds are a little bit different, and they represent, like, the current year, the current times.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like, just like talking about that, we were talking about Olivia Rodrigo, right? Think about all the fashion, whether it was fashion that was coming back first or whether it was, you know, that sound, that pop rock early 2000s Y2K thing that was coming back. I'm not really sure what came first, the chicken or the egg, but they definitely come together, and you are getting that vibe, whether it's through the music that you're hearing on the radio, and it's giving that like nostalgia thing. I think it was the nostalgia thing that started first. There was like all these kind of like nostalgia, like it was kind of like 90. It was like, it's kind of been going through the genre, like 80s, 90s, and then it hit the 2000s. I think people were like, yes, we've arrived. So I think that's been really cool. So that's interesting that you said that, because I think about it, but I don't really get to talk about it. So that's cool.
All right, now we're gonna talk a little bit about some stories of you performing live.
Ooh, I love this. Okay, cool. Go for it.
What is the favorite singer you've shared the stage with?
Favorite singer I've shared the stage with? Let's see. I would say, okay. This is a hands down. I don't even have to think about it. I got to open for Heffron Drive, which is Kendall Schmidt from Big Time Rush. And that was, and that was the coolest thing. I got to open for him 2 years in a row, 2 performances. And that was in 2014 and 2015, which, if you can believe it, I can't believe how long ago that was. But the fans that I also met performing back then have stuck with me this long, and it's been so amazing to see that. And he is the nicest guy ever. So I actually have a backstory about all that. So when Big Time Rush first came out on Nickelodeon, I was auditioning in the city and this and that. I'd gone to Nickelodeon quite a bit for like some auditions over the years, and I guess maybe they had my name on file. And so I got called for this like super secret filming thing in New York City. And we didn't know who it was for or what it was for or what we were going to be doing, really. So we just kind of like showed up at this park. I can't remember the name of it. It has a really big arch thing near NYU. And we showed up for that. And we were told at like once we got there that Big Time Rush were going to be pulling up in like was it a cab or I can't remember if it was a taxi or it was like a Cadillac. I can't remember. But basically we were going to run up. They were going to give us pictures for them to sign. We were going to run up and get their autographs and like look excited. I'm like, don't have to look excited. I am excited. And so I got to I'm in the music video for their song Famous, and it aired on the TV show, and it's me getting Kendall's autograph. And so like he signs my picture that he, of them, and I like turn and I smile, and it's like the cutest thing ever. And we actually have the same birthday, November 2nd. And actually the girl who was Caitlin, I can't remember her last name, but Caitlin, who played his like love interest on the show, we have all the same birthday. So funny. And then like a few years later, I got to open for him, and it was the coolest thing. And actually during the sound check, I got to sound check. I did a cover of Made in the USA when I opened for him. I think it was first year. I can't remember, first or second year. And he like, after the sound check, he was doing his meet and greet, and he didn't have to do this at all, but it was like the kindest thing ever and like the sweetest moment. He was like, oh my gosh, after I was walking down the stairs backstage, and he was like, oh my gosh, that note, because like I hit the huge high note in it, and he was like, that was amazing. I was like, oh my god, Kendall Schmidt just said something I did was amazing. It was the coolest thing. So Big Time Rush, if you're looking for an opening act, I'm there.
You don't know how jealous I am.
It's a really cool. I'm really like, I'm just saying this. I'm like, wow, that happened.
I was like 2 years ago, one of like the top listeners.
Really?
Of Big Time Rush.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's so cool.
And I was so sad when I couldn't go to the Forever Tour.
I didn't get to go either.
But they're going to be.
We can be sad together.
But they're going to be performing in Saratoga.
I know.
And I'm very much like, I'll take off work for this.
I know, right? Like all my friends were posting, and like fans who I'd met who had the shows and stuff, they were like posting all their pictures and their videos. I'm like, I wish I were there too. And it was so cool. He is the sweetest. He is so nice. So I hope that you get to like meet him or something. Maybe you could get you never know. Maybe you could get an interview or something.
Oh, I'd love to give it an interview.
You never know. Even like get a sound bite. That'd be so cool.
I would love to give a spin from BTR. They are my one. Well, I say my one true love to 5 different artists, but they are one of my one true loves.
That's what I was top listener for 5 Seconds of Summer last year, so I get the vibe. I get it.
Just to appease my loving heart of BTR, do you want to tell us maybe a little bit of gossip about Kendall? Maybe some good gossip. Good gossip?
I don't know if I have any good gossip. I just think honestly, probably the good gossip is that he's like the kindest person. I know that. I don't know, any good gossip? I don't really have any gossip because like I only, I didn't really get to hang out with him too much, but like he gives amazing hugs. Okay, that's good gossip. He gives amazing hugs.
Now you're just making me even more jealous.
Yeah, he gives amazing hugs. And actually, you know what? I think what was really cool about being put on that show and getting asked back again was he personally had to approve it, which I think was really, really cool. Like to know that it went through. Okay, so I originally just called and wanted to just perform at. It was at the Meadowlands. It was at the State Fair at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. And I originally just wanted to see if there was any performance opportunities. And he's like, well, the booker was like, well, we actually have this band coming in. And he said it's Kendall. He was in Big Time Rush, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I was more like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, okay, let me see. And they sent my stuff to the management. Management approved it, and they're like, okay, so if Kendall approves it, then you're on the show. And I was like, I was sitting with this information, like, if Kendall approves it, I'm on the show. And Kendall approved it. I'm like, I'm on the show. So it was, yeah. I don't really. The best gossip I have is probably that he's a really good hugger.
Well, please stop. You're making me so jealous.
That's too funny.
We're moving on. We're moving on.
I think we need to wrap that segment.
My lonely heart cannot deal with that.
Amazing.
Tell me a little bit about your favorite moment playing live.
My favorite moment playing live. I've gotten to do a show down in Savannah, Georgia for quite a few years. Live in Savannah, like 3 years, 2018, 2019, and then last year, 2022. And I just really, I have some really great footage from that. And I just think that the ability I got to perform on this huge stage in this really cool venue. It was like within the Savannah Civic Center. It was like a theater. And I think just being able to have this like amazing crowd that was so into the show and just like so energetic and connecting with them when I perform. I love that. And I did a performance of what's the song called? Oh, it's a Demi Lovato song. I can't think of it right now, but I loved performing that there. I can't think. I can think of like funny things that have happened on stage, but as far as like amazing moments, I think it's really getting to connect with an audience that is so excited to be there, and they're like jumping and like singing and screaming and like they're reaching out their hands. Like I think that kind of moment is what you want as an artist, and I think it's really cool when that happens, because sometimes you're performing and you don't get that reception. You know what I mean? Like depending on like also where you are. Like if you're performing at like a fair or like more of like an event, like you might not have that dedicated audience, but when you have that, it's really really special. So I think that.
All right. Now, conversely, I don't want to say least favorite because,
Yeah.
There can be some bad times and maybe not like interesting, but what is maybe like the most interesting? It doesn't have to be like positive or negative.
Performing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I have a few. So I've fallen like going downstairs on stage. That was cute. One time, okay, so this was like down in Savannah. This was like really random. A girl gave me a hamburger. I kid you not. It was like the weirdest thing. Like it was wrapped. It was weird. I don't know. I was like, okay, thanks. I don't know. It was like so strange. Like we have it on tape too. I was like, what the heck happened? It was interesting.
Was the hamburger good?
I've never tried a hamburger or a hot dog in my life, so she was not on brand with that gift.
Oh.
No, I know. I have no idea. It was so weird, but it was a funny moment that I remember. Let's think what else. Like funny, interesting. I thought of one the other day. You never want to say the wrong place you're in. I think that's always like, I think I've only done that ever once. Once you've done it, you're like paranoid to ever do it again. I think when I fell, that was interesting because you feel it and you're like, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of it. But the hamburger thing, I will never forget that. I'm like, I don't know what inspired her to do that. It was just weird.
I'll promise you, if I ever see you play live,
you'll bring me a hamburger.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring you a hamburger.
But can you make it a veggie burger, or can you make it like a black bean burger? Because I'd eat that. I'm not vegetarian or anything. I just like I've never tried that. I just don't. So yeah.
Yeah. No.
Hook me up.
I'll keep that in mind.
Okay.
That's going stored in my brain for next time I see you live.
Next time you see me? Okay, that's cool. That works.
Yeah. Is there anything live you want to tell the listeners that maybe I didn't cover?
Oh my gosh. I think I really honestly, I want to thank you for having me in here because I think this was really cool, and I've really enjoyed talking with you, and we got to talk about a lot of things I've never gotten asked, which I thought was really interesting. So I thought that was really special, and I think it's really great that like places like WRPI invite independent artists in and want to give that space. So I think that's really nice, and I appreciate it. And also my dad wanted to give him a shout out, which is like he never asked for something like that. So shout out to my dad. He's listening.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's really it.
Yeah.
I mean, but also, like, yeah, I think this was really great, and I appreciate you playing Love You More, so thank you.
Yeah. We're not done yet. I have more
we
questions
have
for you.
Yeah, I know, but I had to get those in because I was thinking about it. I'm like looking at the WRPI thing, and I'm like, this is really cool. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I really like to know that my interview questions and interviews.
They're really good. Seriously.
You know, I'm just skilled. Very
You
skilled.
You are. And you know what? I think Kendall from Big Time Rush would agree. So there we go. And you know what? Also, James is very, very tall. Like, don't be just, like, he is really tall. Like, that's the only other thing I can think of is he's really tall as far as, like, gossip. But, I mean, I'm sure if you look up his height, you'd be like, okay, well, he's tall.
Okay. Do you want to tell us maybe what's next for you?
Yeah, totally. I think so. Right now, I'm really focusing on, I think my dad just texted me. He said, yay, a shout out. So as far as what's next for me, right now, I'm like really focused on promoting Love You More. And, you know, we're going for that goal, you know, millions of streams, Willow. So, you know, there we go. So hopefully, fingers crossed, you never know. So I'm working on releasing some more new music, and I have, like I said, some songs that have been sitting, maybe not as long, maybe not as long as Love You More, and just working on that. And as gigs pop up and as performances pop up, I'll let you know. But right this minute, I've been putting all my attention into promoting this and seeing what we can do with it. So. I'm excited, but definitely want some more. I love performing live, and I think anyone who's listening is like, yeah, I think she does. But yeah, I love performing live, so hopefully soon.
Is there any genres, obviously pop included, that you're thinking about you might want to get into?
You know what? It'd be really cool. Like, I don't know if you watched Coachella. There was like a live stream this past weekend, but I would love to collaborate with a DJ and get to go perform at different festivals.
Ooh.
I think that'd be really cool. I'd love to do that. I think that'd be really special. And actually, I also love K-pop, and I think it'd be cool to either collaborate with a K-pop artist, or I also study Korean, so maybe one day they typically translate it, but it'd be cool to be like, well, I actually know the word for that. And I think it'd be really cool to work in that genre, because I think there's a lot of interesting moments happening there. And they're actually bringing in a lot of artists over there. There's been a lot of artists like New Hope Club and Max, and a lot of artists collaborating with like some different K-pop groups, and I think that'd be really cool. It's a really interesting market, interesting scene.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, before we get to the very fun part of this
speed round.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it.
Do you want to tell listeners how, if they're interested in you, how they might be able to support what you're doing?
Absolutely, yeah. So you can check out my website. I will spell my name because people assume how to spell it, and I just think spelling's better. Kristina Lachaga, LACHAGA.com. So it's Kristina Lachaga. All my socials are at Kristina Lachaga. You can check out my music's up on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, lots of performance videos on there. So you can check out my music wherever you listen to it. And if you want to say hi and tell me you listened, let me know. I'd love to hear what you think about Love You More, and you can let Willow and I know what you think about the pop scene and all. You can weigh in on the conversation.
Oh yeah, I would love to hear more opinions on that.
I'd love to hear more. I'm curious what people think. Now that we brought this up, I would like to know what people are thinking out there. Interesting.
All right, are you ready?
Oh God, I'm ready. You know what? What I am happy about, at one time I did a radio interview, and the game was about movies, and I don't watch movies, so I'm so glad when you said that the game would be like speed round of questions. I'm like, thank God, so this is good. I'm ready.
Okay, we're getting rid of my speed round question that was about movies.
Okay, no, you can ask it.
No,
you can ask it.
That was literally a joke.
Oh, okay. I'm gullible. I fell for it.
All right.
That's funny.
So. You know how speed round works.
Yes.
Answer as quick as possible.
Okay.
Maybe not super quick if you want to go a little bit more.
Yeah.
I will be giving you points. I won't be telling you how much each is worth.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
And how much you need to pass. But,
there's a pass fail?
Yes.
Oh, shoot. Okay. I gotta get my thinking cap on and really give some good answers. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh, God.
First one.
Okay.
You can only pick one.
Oh, no.
Gaslight, gatekeep, or girl boss.
Girl boss.
Of course, girl
boss. But I like to gatekeep certain artists. I kind of like to keep them to myself. But girl boss.
All right. Math time.
Oh, God.
You see the room that we're in.
Yes.
Listeners don't know the dimensions of this room. I don't know the dimensions of this room.
Okay.
But can you estimate for me, how many gallons of paint do you think that it would take to fill this room?
We're definitely at RPI with that question. How many gallons of paint would it take to fill? Okay, so I would say that the room is probably like 12 feet this way. And then I would say maybe 18 feet that way. So 12 by 18. And then if you have to go up, I would say it's probably, ceilings are typically what, like 7 feet? 7 feet? Okay, so 12 by, we need a calculator. Is this approved for the interview? Can we get a calculator?
Yes, you can use a calculator.
I was in honors math throughout all 4 years they wanted me to do honors calc. I'm like, no, I'm okay.
If you do not need to do calc, please do not
I didn't do
calc.
I'm like, she's like, it'll look good on colleges. I'm like, no, it's all right. I don't want to do that. Okay, so 12 by 18 by 7 is 1,512. So would that be like the... What would that, did that do anything? Did that help me?
That would be the volume.
That'd be the volume. Okay, so then let's figure out how many in a gallon of paint. Okay, 1 gallon of paint. Gallon of paint. Like, how much is in it, I guess?
Well, it's a gallon of paint.
Yeah, so then...
So you have a...
Oh, it's a gallon. Oh, my God.
Yeah, you...
I did go to extra help for the math classes I was in. Okay, so...
Just convert...
so what should I do?
You convert volume into gallons.
Okay, we can do this. Okay, so volume... This is interesting. For anyone who's playing at home, let me know if you got the answer already. Okay, so a cubic foot... Okay, so let's put this in. So what was it? 1512. Okay, I got this. 1512. If I missed a number. 1512. I didn't know I was gonna do math when it came. It says I would need. This doesn't seem right. 11,310 gallons. Does that seem right?
That's a lot of paint.
That's a lot of paint. I don't think that's right. I think I went wrong somewhere.
You know,
I might need a tutor from RPI.
We'll accept that. I like the dedication.
I like the dedication as well. You know what? If any math teacher listened, they're like, well, she had a theory and she went for it and she showed her work. So bonus points for showing my work.
You at least get the points for showing your work and at least working through it.
Okay.
So I appreciate you'll get
it's a good college try.
You'll get some points from me.
Yes. Okay, good.
All right.
God.
Favorite Girl Scout cookie?
Oh, because I do stuff with Girl Scouts.
Yes.
Of course. I love the s'mores one. Like they're a sandwich cookie. I'm not gonna say don't get the other ones, but the sandwich cookie ones I like. And I could probably sit there and eat a whole thing of the sandwich ones of the s'more cookies. So yeah. Throughout a day, I could probably eat the whole thing if I really wanted to. That one.
All right. Least favorite Girl Scout cookie?
Oh, God. Am I allowed to say this? I would say I don't really eat stuff with peanut butter, so probably the ones with the peanut butter. And maybe the s'mores that aren't the sandwich cookie.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah. That's funny.
Coolest not music-related talent you have?
Coolest not... I can speak 5 languages. I've studied 5 languages. I mean, I studied 4 languages. I speak one natively, English. So I have studied Spanish in school. So, the whole thing. Did, honors, up to honors Spanish. And then I did Russian for, 1.5 to 2 years. I've done Korean. That's going on, almost a year. Very dedicated with my Thursdays, 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. And then I have done Japanese for, 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. That's my non-music related talent.
Oh, that is so cool.
Thank you. I'm glad someone appreciates it. Yeah, I love that. I love learning languages, and it's something that's, and also non-music related. Maybe I love to dance. I think that's a good one too. But yeah.
All right, last question.
Go for it.
What radio station are our listeners currently listening to?
WRPI.
Wow. Okay.
Did I pass? Pass fail.
Do you want to do pass fail or do you want to do letter system?
You can letter system it. Oh God.
I don't know. We'll say B plus.
B plus. I'll take it. I don't think my GPA in high school would have been very appreciative of that, but I'll take it. That's awesome.
Now, I'd like to thank you for...
Thank you.
However, as this is being recorded, would you like to do a station identification for our automation?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. So should I just say WRPI?
You can say anything more as long as you say WRPI Troy.
Troy. Okay, Troy at the end. Okay, cool. Here we go. Ready? I'm going to get it in one take. Okay, ready? Hey, it's pop singer-songwriter Kristina Lachaga, the girl with the big pink heart, and you're listening to WRPI Troy.
Amazing.
Does that make my grade go up? Do I get some extra credit? One take.
You can go up to an A minus now.
A minus, yes. Okay, cool.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming in and talking with me.
Yeah.
I'll be excited for your future stuff. But otherwise, that's the end of this. Listeners, I will be back in a little bit, but hope you all have enjoyed this interview.
Thank you so much for having me, and I can't wait to tune into the station, and I can't wait to come back with some more music. Thanks, Willow.
You're welcome. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thanks for listening.